Hello, everybody. My name is Dee, and this is another episode of Dee's Beautiful Seeds. Today, I want to discuss forgiving my father. My real father was in prison, in and out of prison my whole life. I remember him being a part of my life for a while and just disappearing, where I didn't hear of him, we didn't speak of him, I didn't see him. And then suddenly he was back in my life again. Then there would be a big fight between him and my mom, or him and another family member of mine, and then he was gone again. And he was very physically abusive. There were allegations that he was sexually abusive to one of my siblings. And he's been in prison because of those allegations for all of my teenage years. I have not spoken nor seen him for over 15 years. And I just recently, like seriously recently, decided to forgive him for what I experienced of him in my life growing up. I had a horrible image of a father figure, and for a long time, I was just depressed about it. I was upset because I felt like I had been robbed. Felt like I was robbed of a loving father figure. You know, the one who is supposed to take care of you and protect you from the evils of the world. The one that's supposed to teach you how a man should treat a woman, teach you how a man should treat their children, and should protect you and love you. I never felt any of that from my father. What I felt more than anything was fear. And I'm making this video because I know that there are other people out there like me, some who are adults now, and some who are children or young or teenagers who are going through feelings of low self-esteem, resentment, fear of the man that is supposed to be loving and gentle and a role model for the man that they should marry one day. And even for the males out there, you know, a good father figure should be an example of how you should be to your children and to your wife and to your parents, you know, one day. And unfortunately, there's a lot of not just fathers, of course. Mothers can be the same way, dismissive, absent-minded, abusive, just ignorant to good parenting. But like I said, this video is going to be about me forgiving my father and where he was and where he is in his journey. I was afraid more than anything, more than love, more than respect, more than admiration, more than just having that sense of curiosity, you know, that a child should have when they're experiencing the world for the first time and their parents are pretty much their guide and showing them the way, showing them how things work, showing them how life is. I had none of those things. I borderline hated him. And I remember like it was yesterday, the day that he was arrested, the final time. And my sister, one of my siblings, cried uncontrollably. And I sat next to her on the bed. I believe I was like maybe 10 or 11 years old. I hate that I'm smiling right now. But I remember like it was yesterday. I sat there with a stone cold face. And for the first time in my life, I saw a gun, a real gun. A police officer had came upstairs and had the gun pointed at my father and told him to get on the ground. And he was standing up and they were coming up the stairs with the gun. So the gun was pretty much, you know, right above the banister. And they just said, "Don't move." And I remember just looking at the gun. I couldn't see him at the time, but I remember looking at the gun and then I saw him lay down on the ground. And all we saw in our doorway was his head facing us, looking at us. When my sister cried, and I just looked like this because I was so happy. I was thrilled because I had seen him beat on my stepmother enough times. I had seen him beat on us. I had felt the wrath. I had been afraid enough. And I was so happy that I felt like I don't have to be afraid anymore. More than anything, I don't have to be afraid anymore. And I think to this very day, why one of the reasons why I am so picky about finding a mate is because I won't tolerate abuse of any kind. I won't tolerate verbal abuse. I won't tolerate physical abuse, sexual abuse, abuse of any kind. I feel like abuse to me is when you try to overpower another individual, when you try to force your will on them, for them to be controlled by you, for you not allowing them to be who they are. I think that's a form of abuse. And my father exhibited all those traits. And I have to remember that every time that I feel lonely, every time that I feel like, you know, I just want to be in a relationship, or I feel like, okay, maybe I'm getting older and I can't, I can't be too picky. But then I remind myself, making the wrong choice in partnership is worse than being alone. Because when you're alone, you're neutral, in my opinion, you're neutral. But if you make the wrong choice and start choosing to walk with somebody who you're not supposed to be with, you have to find your way to get back to neutral when that relationship falls, as it inevitably will when you're not walking with somebody who respects you and cares for you and loves you and treats you like a human being. But I didn't forgive my father for his sake. I forgave him for my sake, because as long as I carried that resentment and I kept those memories and those images alive, I was slowly eating away at my self-esteem and my happiness and my sense of the idea that true love and the way that one should be treated can be a quality that, a potential mate has, that it can come to me. I believe that you are what you attract to you. You attract to you what you are. And as long as I held on to those negative memories, I would be keeping that alive. And I did not want to do that. I don't want to do that. I won't do that. I refuse to do that to myself and my potential partner in the future. I haven't spoken to my father, and I don't feel the need personally to forgive him to his face, because I don't think that does anything for him or me. I don't want a relationship with him. But I no longer resent him for what I experienced. I no longer blame him for the choices he made in the past. I accept it for what it is. And I've learned moving forward that I deserve better, that my step parents deserve better, and that everyone deserves better. And so this is a message for anyone who is going through this now, dealing with abuse of any kind. You deserve better. And the only way that you are going to protect yourself and the future you is by recognizing what abuse is and recognizing that you don't have to go through it. And once you do take the steps to get out of that situation, you can forgive the person who put you in that situation. You can forgive your parents, your friends, your ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, and you can find your way to what you deserve, so that you can be a better partner for your spouse or mate, or a better parent to your children. That's what I want to say about forgiveness.